Okay, so something that can be done maybe an hour before bedtime is just have them bouncing, that linear bouncing. Either jumping on something like a trampoline or a boosted ball, or even sitting on a yoga ball. Even if they're not bouncing, they're rocking, they're getting that movement, that rhythmic movement. And I would do this maybe instead of sitting on the couch, give them this. This can help that get that rhythm, get their nervous system kind of back on track. So an hour before bedtime, it's kind of active, so it can kind of get that heart rate up and get that vestibular system moving, but it's also rhythmic. Which helps kind of calm that nervous system. I don't promote TV screens very much, but you gotta watch TV sometimes, and that's great. But while they're watching TV, have them do something a little bit active to get that input. Bouncing. All right, heavy work. Heavy work means using your muscles actively, moving heavy stuff. They're really engaging gross motor, full, huge movements, right? So this is lycra. This is called the rainforest. I have this set up in my basement. This can be really difficult to recreate, but this would be the pinnacle idea of getting heavy work because he is crawling in and out. Where is he? He's crawling in and out of these, layers of lycra. He has to climb up, climb down, but that would be an excellent example of heavy work where you have to really pull, push, climb. Whoa, right? So he's getting a lot of vestibular input too, but think of things for ways. Climbing is an excellent example of really slow pace, really using my muscles to activate that nervous system, activate that muscle use, that gross motor, slow, pull, push kind of stuff. Whoa. So if you have something like this, maybe an hour before bedtime, even outside, climbing trees, moving rocks, picking up pillows, stacking pillows, moving chairs, these kinds of things, big, heavy work, gross motor activities can help. It's exercise. Think exercise. How good do you feel after you go to the gym? You probably sleep much better that day, right? Or that night. Same with kids. This is their gym. And if they want to work out with weights, do that. Or if you have something lycra you can set up with suspension, go do that. Or make up your own with pillows. Big, heavy things. Right, Willie?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Okay, the jump and crash. Good activities to do, maybe do an hour before bedtime. That's that kind of getting that tactile input. You're getting a lot of heavy work. You get the proprioception, you get those muscle uses, and they're getting the tactile, that impact. Jump, crash, jump, crash, jump, crash. Keeping it rhythmic. Jump, crash, jump, crash, crash, jump, back and forth. That's a really good activity to do just maybe an hour before bedtime to get. Again, it's exercise. We're working out. But we're not just working out, but using that tactile, that impact to get that tactile input to help for regulation. Okay. Boom. How you doing, bud? And you can punch some pillows too, which is always fun. Yeah. Whoa, so good. So good. Okay, so swinging, strap swinging, swinging. This is active swinging. This is a good thing to do right about an hour before bedtime. So you're getting a lot of active use. It's different than being in a hammock and being swung, or on a platform swing, or in a sensory swing, or maybe I'm swinging the kid, my kiddo, because in this case, they're doing the work. So again, it's exercise, right? They're doing exercise. They're using active muscle use in addition to that vestibular input. So they're getting all the benefits of swinging, and they're using their muscles. This being active, they're getting all that trunk flexion. Yeah. So if you have a swing outside, or if you have an indoor swing inside, access to a swing an hour before bedtime is can be an excellent tool to use to help kids get to sleep later, because that rhythmic, linear swinging is getting the nervous system what it needs to be calm. And on top of getting that active muscle use, they're going to the gym. Right, Willie? You're pumping up? Going to pump you up. Bubble jug. Bubble jug is part of oral motor. Oral meaning your mouth, motor meaning movement. Oral motor activities are a great way to help with the regulation and a great way to get some heavy work. This is an old 5-gallon jug filled with soap and water, and here they have some therotubes. They're blowing bubbles into it. All that heavy work, they're working on diaphragmatic breathing, pursed lip breathing. They're strengthening their core, and they're having fun. This is an excellent activity to do right before bedtime because it's a really good calm down activity. You don't have to use this. You can use a bowl of water or an old milk jug, something like that. It can be that simple. I like using water because it's resistive. What? Whoa! It's resistive. And you can put the bubbles in there, and it's an incentive to get the bubbles to the top, something like that. But you can do things like whistles, harmonicas, blowing feathers through a straw. Anything like that is a great oral motor activity. It's an awesome activity to do just before bedtime to help get those calming breaths in, and you get some heavy work. Bubble jug. So hammocks and swings, things maybe if you could set something up in the bedroom like this. This is a hammock, pretty cheap off of Amazon. 2 points, one here, one across the room. Different ways to set up that for a different blog. But something you could do in the bedroom just before bedtime because that linear rocking is really calming to the nervous system. Maybe I'm reading a book, maybe the kid's reading a book, maybe I'm telling a story, maybe they're listening to an audio story, something like that. But getting a way to get that passive. They're not doing any work, they're just relaxing. And one thing I like is to make it near the bed, so the transition from the swing to the bed is really minimal. In some cases, they can crawl right in there, or they can just hop out. So. Good night. Good night.
So funny.
Cool. Lycra tunnel. This is really cool because it's a bit different than a hammock because the hammock doesn't squish back. The hammock, I get that swing, that linear rocking, which is great. This does the same thing, but it squeezes back because I push on it, it pushes back. So I get that squeeze, I get that deep pressure, which is also really very calming. And it kind of blocks out the light. Kids can be into it with a book, or same thing with an audio story or telling a story, just calm bedtime stuff going on. Okay? Be careful with them walking into something like a bed or something like that. But this can be great because I can put heavy pillows in there with them. I can put a weighted blanket, put on a movie light, whatever, some kind of calming stuff. All right, well, let's go to bed. Time for bed. Well, and having it near the bed is I like if the kids can transfer this. And nap in bed, dude. Night night. It's 11 a.m. Okay, the magic of deep pressure. Something like a weighted blanket can be really cool. I think this is, it's like a 20-pound. It's pretty heavy. Normally you want to do like 5% of the kid's body weight. Some kids like heavier, some kids like lighter. This can get really, really hot, and kids get really, really sweaty because it's so heavy and there's so much material with it. So that's just one thing they take into account. How do you feel? Nice and comfortable? Yeah? Are you sure you're going to sleep then? Even though it's like 11 a.m.? Good night. Good night. Stop laughing. Go to bed. Go to sleep. Weigh the blankets.
Thumbs up.
So some things to remember if you're having trouble sleeping or your kiddo's having trouble sleeping, being very intentional about some of the activities you do throughout the day, making sure they have large gross motor movements throughout the day, making sure those movements incorporate some tactile input and vestibular input, and of course proprioception, which is my active muscle use throughout the day. As we're getting closer to bedtime, making sure that large gross motor movement is linear and rhythmic. So if we're swinging, it's back and forth. If we're jumping, it's up and down. As we get closer to that bedtime, making sure we kind of reduce that vestibular input if we can, giving more proprioception or deep squeezes that helps us get that nervous system ready and calm for bed. Even closer to bedtime, maybe a few minutes before bedtime. If we can do that gentle linear rocking just before bed. Sometimes even the oral motor can also work just before bed, but it's calm. Let's reduce that visual, reduce the auditory if we can. Get the nervous system ready for a good night's sleep. Just some simple gross motor activities that can be done throughout the day, an hour before bedtime, a few minutes before bedtime, taking into account that vestibular input, that tactile input, and that proprioception, and getting that throughout the day. I hope some of this is useful. I hope some of these activities can help you or your kiddo have a little bit of a better night's sleep. Remember, just keep the body moving as much as we can throughout the day and then bring it down before bed. Have an excellent day or have an excellent night.